Alright, welcome back everybody. I've got kind of a hodgepodge again of stuff to show today. We're going to build a couple machines, but since I have so much other stuff to discuss, I'm probably going to actually set them up in the next video. Or at least set them up in the proper way that I want to have them eventually. I haven't done any work deciding on where I'm going to put them or anything like that. First thing is I've been toiling over this right here. I've been needing to get my uraninite dust done, processed, and found that without overclocking the recipe, this is the only way that it will work. That you need to put a MV motor on a LV machine, which just does not sound right to me. And you'll notice that my automatic board thing controller is missing. That is because I went to grab the barrel off of the top, and now I have another dolly with a Gregtech block in it. That is my centrifuge, so I had to make a new one, which kind of sucks. But the way I have this set up right now is this is for anything that needs to be like 48 to 64. This is for the bat box that's underneath it, which is anything under that. Now I'm going to change this into two separate setups and make me another bronze centrifuge. And I will have one for 48 to 64s and one for 32s and 16s, or up to 32, mainly the 16s. But as of right now, anything that I don't want to overclock, I have to take out this motor, hit the switch to change which one is feeding it, and then it'll do the job. But right now it's got a lot of uraninite to go through, so not an issue. But I asked Greg before I started this video to make sure it was intended, because I didn't want later on for things to blow up when he reactivates it, if he's going to reactivate it. And he said yes, there is some recipes where an MV motor will be needed for a LV machine, and so on and so forth. Okay, let's get to the first machine that I want to get made today. And that is going to be a canning machine. And first things first, we got to make our machine frame, and this one is just the regular machine frame. And then it needs a rotor, a stainless steel rotor. Now, for a rotor, you need a screw and you need a ring. And I already had some stainless steel screws laying around, so I don't need to make another one. But if I did, I could just use this other rod here and stick it into the cutting machine, which would cut it into bolts, and then throw it into the lathe to make it into a screw. That's the cheapest way possible, other than just sticking it using the mold. And crud. I gotta go get my file and my screwdriver. Let's drop this clay off in here for right now. That's become kind of my junk chest at the moment. All my chests end up becoming junk chests eventually, usually. Okay, screwdriver, file, and while we're here, we might as well use this crafting table. So we need that there, these around here, and it's almost always hammer, file, screwdriver. Alright, it's not this time. I swear that's the way it was in GT5. Oh, the screw's on the side. But I guarantee it'll be hammer, file, screwdriver. See? Hammer, file, screwdriver. Okay, so we got that. Now we need this. 5 of these. This. And what was it I needed? Hammer and wrench as usual. Should have known that. And there's our mixer. Now the mixer, this is the same as the mixing bowl that is over here, just this is a automated version of it. I'm using this mainly for construction foam, and this will need rotational energy, so it will need this motor. So basically it's going to be set up energy in from the bottom, so it's going to go like so. That goes on there. That'll be the input. That'll be the output for your items, and your water will go in the top. Now I'm going to have water coming out, or fluid coming out, because the recipe that I'm looking at needing to get done is the seafoam, except I'm not doing the black one. So I will need a liquid output, and you'll see the fluid goes in the top, fluids come out the back. So right here is my output for fluids. Now we will need something to put that fluid into, and that's where these parts come in. This is going to be a canning machine. And it needs a aluminum machine chassis, 2 circuits, 2 tin wires, 2 tiny stainless steel. Alright, and I've got the 2. Alright, where's the 2 tiny? There's the 2 tiny. And I just need the aluminum frame. I thought I made that as well. What was I using? Oh, that's for the other machine. Okay, there's another machine I want to make too. Did I not make the... Huh. I may not have made the aluminum thing for this. I kind of cut my preparation for this episode into 2 different days, because last night was Saturday night, and on the server, for me, it gets a bit laggy because it's the high point of internet time. So let's go ahead and make one of those real fast. This is a regular one, right? Yes. So 8 pieces is all we need. And luckily it's aluminum, so it's really quick. And is there enough room in there? I know I have something in there. Let's go ahead and finish that off real quick. And then we'll throw that in there. Manganese and chrome, just making a little bit more stainless steel. And it should be ready in just a second because it doesn't have to get all the way to 2100 again. And while we're waiting on this to get done, I wanted to show this here. Thanks to Shin, he goes by Human Alien here on in Minecraft, but he's known as Shin to us. He has his own YouTube channel. I will try to remember to throw an annotation in here. If not, when he watches it, he will probably remind me that I didn't, or he can leave a message. Y'all can find him that way. Or y'all can tell me, but he's Hungarian, if I remember correctly. But he does English Gregtech videos. He plays on the server here with us, obviously, because he helped me come over and help me figure this out. Ultimate is a pain in the butt. It's got a very picky way that you have to do it, and I kept getting nichrome, which is why there's a picky way of doing it, because if you don't do it just right, you end up with nichrome. And so he came over. I kind of put a challenge out to everybody in the group to see if there were any takers that would like to try to figure out how to do it, because it was just frustrating me. And a lot of times it's good to get a fresh pair of eyes on it, fresh pair of hands in it. And it worked. He came over and figured it out, I do believe, on the first try that he did. For those that may not know, Ultimate is a mixture of molybdenum and cobalt. It takes the better of the two for their either durability or their level. You get the durability of molybdenum, but you get the level 3 rather than level 2 from the cobalt, and then it also has nickel and chrome in it as well. But you can see I have ultimate scrap in here, and the way he figured it was we needed about 500 extra heat in the crucible before the mixture of the chrome into the batch. So he heated the cobalt, the nickel, and the molybdenum up to 2588, and then dropped in the 2 chrome. And when he did so, all of the components in here would still be above the mixing temperature, which I think was around 2100. And so it would see all of them as one recipe, where I was trying to heat it up and add them in a certain order rather than adding them at a certain temperature. So thanks to him for figuring that out for me, because I want to start making some of my tools out of Ultimate so I can have a little bit better durability out of my cobalt. Not particularly for the damage, but for the durability. And I also talked to Greg about the durability of that, and he has recalculated it, hoping it isn't changing it for the negative, but you never know with Greg which way it's going to go. Because I believe with it having chrome and molybdenum and cobalt, it should be a little bit higher than what it is, and that there isn't a whole lot of reward for making it versus making the regular molybdenum or just cobalt. There is some, as I've already stated, but to me, not always enough. So hopefully that is going to get a bit of a boost in the next update. All right, here's our canning machine. Now, this is the only other straight EU machine that I know of other than the electrolyzer. So it will take straight electricity. So we're going to put that here for now. And you can see it takes in fluid from the top, items if you're going to need them in there through this side and out this side. The power will go in the back here by that circle. And then my guess would be that that means the output goes to the bottom, which is where you would, kind of expect it. So let's hike this up here, and there it is. So I am going to be putting seafoam in this, as I said. So I'll be taking the fluid out of here, putting it into there, and then it will come out the bottom if I was putting it out the bottom. But what I'm actually going to be doing is, see if I can find it quickly here. Dun, 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 right there. I'll be doing something very similar to this. It'll be seafoam and an empty spray can will make me a spray can of seafoam. And you know what? It's probably actually easier to find the recipe over here, because I can just do this right here. This is what I'm going to be doing. So I won't have a fluid out. I will have an item out for the setup that I'm doing. Now, before I get into the last machine, I want to show you the reason why I'm making this. I've done a little changes down here. Wasting power. Turned off. That means that's not full. Oxygen. And I really hope Greg finds another use for oxygen soon, because just the roaster is not enough. I am building up oxygen like you wouldn't believe. But if you remember, the doorway was over here to get into the clean room. It's now been moved over here, and it now has a sliding 3-panel door that automatically opens and closes. This here needs to get moved, but I haven't got around to that. And I have changed this out to be an all red alloy system. So I need the seafoam so I can spray this right here, so it looks better. Now this here is going to be another one of those doors. I'm going to have to move Greg in the ore washer again, because this is going to have to get built out here. And I have all of the stuff over here to make the second door, but I'm going to do that in a short little video just to kind of show it. Typically I would test that kind of stuff on camera with you guys, but it was so aggravating for me trying to set it up, because I am not a redstone person. I was just trying to use the little bit of redstone knowledge I had and the little bit I had seen from other people doing it to try to figure it out, and it got kind of aggravating. So I decided I would just build the first one, work it all out, and then I would show you how I did it in the second one. All right. Now, the other machine that I am making is something I have been needing to make for a very long time, and that is a steel compressor. Now, I need this so I can make energy crystals again. Now, it uses quintuple, that's 5 steel plates, so there's 10 steel plates right there. Then it needs the double steel plated machine, the robust. And I have both of those. I have the spring, I have the robust. Now I just need the steel rod, and I gotta remember if I cut that yet or not. Apparently not, so let's run over and grab one. Now, the reason for needing this is because you have to have a 256. Look at that right there. And I went and made more. Blind as hell sometimes. I've got iron, no steel. Alright, so give me this one. Let's do a double check real quick. Oh, look at that. We got steel right there. Alright, so I'm not going to remember this recipe. So let's plop it up here where I can see it. You need a 256 minimum on your compressor to make the energy crystals now. And this will do up to 256. Now, I'm going to set this up the way you would need to before you have electric machines. So to power this, I am going to need a steam engine that can do 256 out. And if you look through all the way up to tungsten steel, they do not put out that much. So we have to look through the strong ones. And if you look through these, you will find that there is one that does 256. Exactly. Well, there's two. Either the tungsten steel or the tungsten, either way. Now, you have kind of two choices here. You can do either one, but if you're up to the heat of tungsten, you probably have tungsten steel. Tungsten is a little bit less efficient than tungsten steel, and so therefore it's going to take more steam to do the tungsten than the tungsten steel. So it's going to be overall better to do tungsten steel. And for anybody that doesn't know, tungsten steel is just 1 and 1 on your tungsten and steel. See, tungsten and steel makes 2. So, as you can see with these, we need a regular 16 GU compressor to take your 9 plates and make your 1 dense plate. So that's 9, 18, 27, 36, 37 with that right there. Maybe, oh yeah, 38 total right there. So 38, cut that in half. You're going to have 15, 19. You're going to have 19 steel and 19 tungsten that you need to do so. So I have like 37 tungsten in here and plenty of steel. Steel's not an issue. So I will get that all made up, and we will look into how many boilers and what strength of boiler I'm going to have to power this bad boy. As you can see, the power goes in the side. Materials come out top and bottom, just like this compressor right here. This one right here. And I will get everything around to make the engine and get the boilers all set up and ready to fire. And we will try this out in another video and finally be able to make energy crystals so I can make more MFEs and MFSUs, because I really can't go much higher than where I am without it, and I really need the excess power storage, because right now this is, my main power storage right here, and as you can see by the red light, I'm currently out of power in here. By the way, Coop put this trap door in for me. I think he got tired of seeing me knocking out the dirt, putting it back in, so he made me a carpenter's door to do it. And I am sucking up a bunch of power right now. I know part of it is this thing here running, and my roaster's a bit much on power too, but I need to check in and see where all my power is going and cut some of it out. And I know some of it is also me running the crucible a lot here, and I now have it turned off. Okay, yeah, it's off. So I won't be taking power there anymore, but I need to get some things checked out around here, make sure, I got all my steam coming in, and make sure I still have the rotor working fine. And right here's where part of my problem is. I didn't watch my large boiler. So now I got to heat it back up again. And speaking of that, I do believe I'm finally going to be able to get rid of my transfer nodes and stuff. As I've always said, I'm not a big fan of them. I know some people kind of live and die by them and love them. I'm just not a large fan. I'm just not a fan of them and would rather get rid of them. But due to us not having a way of making controllers or conveyors and pumps right now for Gregtech pipes, they're kind of necessary for certain applications. And I found an issue. I'm not quite sure what it is. I haven't worked it out yet. But this guy keeps cloning himself. Sometimes when I come on the server, there will be 2 of them down there. Now, when I didn't have it chunk loaded when I was on, if I left a chunk and come back, I have had where one of them, either this one or that one, would disappear. But I have gotten about 3 of these now that have cloned themselves. I do believe it's because it's on wooden and it's moving so slow and it's passing a chunk border. And so when I log in, it sees itself as being in one chunk and another chunk, and therefore it's doing it. But I don't like that it's doing it. And because of us not having those, I have talked to Axel, and we have added logistics pipes to the server. So now I should have a way that I can at least get rid of this minecart. I still want to keep this one for taking everything up and down. And I may even keep this one up here for delivering stuff from there to here, but I do want to get rid of what's down below, because that's the main one that's causing me issue right now. And I did put in another coke oven, so there are now 8 of them, I do believe, and I need to get at least one, possibly 2 more made, and I'm probably going to work on that today. For anybody that hasn't messed with logistics pipes before, I have never played with it, and I, as you all may by now know, don't like to look things up on wikis. I like to figure them out for myself. So there are probably going to be a couple videos of me just testing things out, seeing how they work, and seeing what I can figure out with them. I have seen a little bit from other YouTubers in the past using them, but never really how they work and how to set them up. So if you're interested in figuring that out, you can figure it out right along with me. And hopefully everything I have discussed working on in future videos will be done in the next coming week. So that's what you'll have to look forward to, as long as nothing comes up major that I need to show. There is one thing that is major coming, and that is the May 5th update is coming out on May the 5th. And it is a huge update. If you guys have not seen the changelog, there is a ton of stuff being added on the 5th. So I will have at least one, maybe 2 update videos to go over what's changed and show some of the stuff that has changed. So that's what's going to be happening this coming week, is setting up those machines, making this one a power source, powering it, getting it to work, making some energy crystals so I can up my power storage, setting up the other door downstairs, hopefully finally finishing that room down there, and having the update come out. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.